Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I have another fun fold card idea I want to share with you. And this is a Z-fold style cross card. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have two different cross card ideas that I want to share with you. And they feature a unique style of a Z-fold card. So it's not your traditional Z-fold. But I have two different ways you can use it in your card making. Now, these make great faith-based cards. Easter cards can be used for a variety of different occasions. Now, the cards in this video feature the Faith Collection bundle from Stampin Up. Now, this particular bundle has a stamp set and a coordinating die set. However, for this particular card, I'm really just using some of the greetings from this set to decorate the cards. All right, so let me show you how to make these cards. So you're going to start with a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm just using thick basic white cardstock. And we're gonna do a little bit of scoring. So our first score line is going to be at 1 3/8 inch. And then we'll scoot this over to 4 1/4 inches and we'll make another score line. Okay, so once you have created the score lines, you can actually go ahead and fold the card in half. So you're gonna fold it at that 4 1/4 inch score line. So that just creates an A2 size card. So this is what your card would be. But then we have that 1 3/8 inch score line. So this is not your standard Z-fold, because normally you would do your Z-fold right down the center. But I offset it a little bit so that we could create the cross on the front of this card. So we're gonna take this score line and we're gonna fold this section back onto itself. So this is the 1 3/8 inch section. So by doing this 1 3/8 inch section, this kind of puts this panel right in the middle of the card front. And that's exactly where I want it for this particular design. All right, so this is what the card looks like. So this is our little kind of modified Z-fold card. We're gonna use the 1 3/8 inch section as kind of the vertical part of our cross. So the first thing I did is I cut a piece of white cardstock at 1 1/8 by 5 1/4 inch. So that's gonna go right down the center. I wanted to do this particular card kind of with some white on white. So that's why we're doing this embossed piece. So I just embossed it with the Distress Tile 3D embossing folder. You can use any embossing folder that you want. The next thing I did is I cut 2 pieces of cardstock. So I have a piece of thick white cardstock, which is 1 3/8 inch. So it's the same width as this piece. And then it is 4 1/4 inches long. So it goes the full length of the card that way. And then I have another layered piece that I'm going to add to this. So this piece is 1 1/8 by 4 inches. And so we'll just add this piece right on here. So I recommend using thick cardstock for this bottom piece, and then you can use just regular white cardstock for the embossed piece. And so that's basically it. So now we just need to adhere this to our card front. And so I'm just going to slide this over. This is about where I want it. So I'm just gonna slide it over and I'm just going to add glue to this center section right here. And then we will line up this piece and just lay it on top. So we're just adhering to that center flap, this flap right here. We're just adhering this little piece, this little bit. Everything else is gonna hang off the card and not be adhered. So that's basically how you create the cross for the Z-fold. And then you can just decorate this any way you want. So let's open it up and start on the inside, and I'll show you what I used. So I'm using some of the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper. So this first piece that I'm going to adhere on the inside of the card is just 1.5 by 5.25 inches, and that's just going to go off to the right side on the inside of the card. And then I have a slightly larger piece, which is 2 5/8 by 5.25 inches. And so this one is going to go on the other side. So we'll just flip this over. This is going to go on this side. So this just kind of decorates the inside really nicely. And then it leaves you a nice space to stamp or write a message. And then we'll flip this back and we'll go to the outside of the card. So right here, we're going to adhere another piece of pattern paper. And so this one is the same size as the one on the inside. So it's 2 5/8 by 5.25 inches. And this is just going to get adhered right here. All right. And so that is what our card looks like. I think this paper is just really gorgeous with just the white cross on the front. So now we're ready to decorate it, and I'm actually using the Fully Flowering Ephemera Pack. So I'm using different little elements from this pack to decorate my cards. So I just added a couple dimensionals on the back, and we're just gonna pop this up kind of off on the left side of the card. And then I have a little 1/2 inch by 2 inch piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to use some Misty Moonlight ink, and we are just going to add a little greeting. So we'll flip this over and we'll just add a couple dimensionals on the back, and then we'll tuck this right underneath here. And then for the finishing touch, I just took a piece of white baker's twine and I just kind of pulled it apart to give it this frayed look. I tied them together, so it's actually just one piece, but I pulled it apart into a couple pieces. And I'm just going to take a little glue dot and we're going to add this right over here. And then we'll just add our little bow. We'll put that little knot right on that glue dot and just add the bow. And then you can trim this down if you wanted. But that's really all there is to it. So you have this front panel here that just kind of pops up and it creates just a really beautiful card. All right, so the second way that you can use this design is just to, instead of creating a pop-up style like this one is actually adhered down to the card, so your card opens just this direction. It just opens like this instead of kind of opening up into an accordion style. So basically you create it the exact same way, but the only difference is instead of leaving this panel free float like it is, we're going to actually adhere it down to the card. So what I did is I added some dimensionals right along this flap. So just add some dimensionals down the inside flap here, or this front flap, and then we'll add a couple dimensionals off the side here. And that's basically all there is to it. So you can take this Z-fold card and just turn it into a simple fun fold card. And so this panel will get adhered directly down to the card front. So we'll take those dimensionals off and we'll fold this over and push it down. And now you don't have an accordion fold, you just have a regular fun fold card. So here's what the accordion fold looks like. It gives you kind of that Z fold, accordion fold, or you just have a standard fun fold. So I just took that flap and just adhered it down, and it just gives you a little different look for this fun fold card. All right, so let me just show you a couple of the other cards. So you already saw this card. So that is the one that kind of pops up. And then I created this card where it's just a regular style card. It just has a shorter front. But again, you create it in the same way as I created that card that I showed you how to make. Here's another kind of pop-up Z-fold style card. So this is a great Easter card, of course. And then here is another card where you just adhere the cross or that left side down to the card front. So there's lots of fun ways that you can play with this design. Okay, so there you go. Now you have two different ways that you can use this Z-fold style cross idea in your card making. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.